I go by my maiden name in art, which is Jessie Benton Evans, and that name was my great-grandmother's name as well, and she was also an early Arizona artist. My great-grandmother was a very ambitious and liberated and independent spirit. She was born back in about 1860. She went to the Chicago Art Institute, and from there she went traveling all over Europe and painting. Finally, she came back to Chicago. She couldn't stand the weather. Oh, she wanted to get warm. And then she went to Santa Fe, and then she saw a poster of a saguaro cactus. And she said, "Where does that go? Where do I go to be there?" And he said, "That's in Arizona." She said, "Well, give me a ticket." Well, somehow she landed in Scottsdale and fell in love with it. It was just dirt roads. And she bought 40 acres on the south side of Camelback Mountain. She decided to build an Italian villa of adobe, I might add, and she decided to spend the rest of her life there painting. It started out as a tea room. My grandmother wanted to do something with a friend of hers who was also from the East. They started a tea room. It was 12 miles from Phoenix, and they had to almost make it an all-day trip, but people kept coming, and gradually my grandfather was an architect and engineer, started adding rooms. It became Jokakian. That's how they got here. There were no houses. You just looked into vast desert until you, as far as you could see, and then it faded into the mountains. When we went into Scottsdale on trips to get groceries or something, it was dirt roads. The road to Tempe was better when I was a child, and so they had to go over every day, drive over to Tempe. And my grandmother painted the road to Tempe, and in the painting you see those slightly grayed ruts in the road. They're a little lighter than the surrounding landscape, and that was the road. And that's all I know about it. It's labeled by my grandmother on the back, a road to Tempe. But the Santa Fe Railroad was making inroads in the tourist trade by bringing people to the Southwest. And to do that, they used different artists' paintings, among other things. And they now have a huge collection of early Arizona and other southwestern states' artists, one of which was Jessie Benton Evans, and she evidently, they have more Jessie Benton Evans than any other women artists in the Santa Fe Railroad collection. She said, "I think that real beauty exists when and where we least expect it, in an unrevealed sense, disclosing itself only as we earnestly search for it, thus stimulating our creative faculties. The desert seems to me always alluring and elusive. It never allows one to work in an imitative way. There is a virgin freshness in the barely trodden hills of the Southwest that one misses in tired, worn Europe." And then she'd take me out on the desert, and one thing I learned from her, which is such an invaluable lesson, is that if you paint from life, and you're not trying to copy nature, you simply try to interpret it. But if you paint from life, there's so many unexpected developments in nature and such things that you would never get from a photograph. And there's a spontaneity to it that it just gives the work energy. I think the colors here are more beautiful than any place I have been. The variety is endless. Everything is here except the sea, but one really gets the effect of the sea in looking over the vast expanses of desert. The wide spaces give an uplifted feeling of infinity.